Do you ever feel like your brain is constantly trying to predict every possible disaster, even when nothing is actually happening? And if you're someone who lies awake worrying or spirals from one what ifs to the next, or feel like you're managing 1,000 invisible threats every single day, I want you to know that you're not alone and you're not broken. Hi, I'm Dr. Sam and I'm a clinical psychologist, and today I'm going to walk you through 7 steps to contain your worries and anxiety, a model I use with clients who feel overwhelmed with anxiety and diagnosed with Generalized Anxiety Disorder. This is an evidence-based and gold standard approach that helps people experience complete overload in their worries to feel grounded and in control again. Let's dive into it. The first step is to understand what worries actually are. Before we can change anything, we have to understand what we are dealing with. Now, our brains are amazing, right? We're wired for survival, and worry is your brain trying to prepare you for possible danger. It's future-oriented, it's repetitive, and it's often completely hypothetical. Sometimes our brains can work a little too hard, firing overtime to keep you alert of all imagined and all possible hypothetical situations that your brain thinks are dangerous and scary. So here's what happens in situations that are uncertain and scary. So for example, we have a situation here, which is a group of friends and you going to a coffee shop, right? You guys are having coffee. We're all laughing about, talking about, the funny things that happened during the week. You guys haven't hung out in ages. So you're a bit nervous, but it's all right. You guys are still friends. And then, while in the midst of discussion, you said something that you thought was funny, but they ignored you and instead continued having that conversation that does not involve the joke that you shared. Now in situations like this, maybe in that very moment you feel alright, hey, maybe they didn't hear you, but in the moment you've left the situation, you've left the conversation, your brain starts doing overdrive, right? Overdrive. You start to worry. Oh, what if they ignored me? What if they thought that my joke was not funny at all? What if they thought I was cringe? What if I said something that might have offended them? Your brain goes everywhere. What happens to that? Then you start to feel anxious, right? You feel nervous, you feel anxious. Your brain starts to repeat the same situation, the same memory that you have of them, ignoring you, them laughing about, not looking at you, not making eye contact with you. And your brain just spirals. You can't concentrate the next day at work. You can't do your homework because you've just been thinking about this situation. What happens is that now you're exhausted. Exhaustion. And you're demoralized. You're tired now. Maybe next time when you guys hang out again, you might not want to go. Or even if you go, you'll be more reserved. You might worry of this happening again. You might start to withdraw from them. Or maybe you start to think that you're not worth their friendship. So this situation doesn't really happen in isolation. A lot of people with this amount of worries, this amount of anxiety, also experience similar worries across different types of situations, not just socially. It could be performance at work, the coursework that you're trying to complete, exams you have, whether or not you've locked the door, with your friends, with your family, and with your romantic relationships. And the first step of breaking down the situation is to recognize that there are actually 2 main types of worries. There are real practical worries, which are things that are actually happening right now, can be acted on. So for example, a practical worry would be that I have an assessment report due tomorrow and I haven't finished it. Well, you can act on this by scheduling time to work, asking for help, and reorganizing tasks. Or another practical worry is I need to pay my rent this week and I haven't transferred the money yet. Another practical worry where you can complete it right now. Now this type of worry are what we call practical worries. Another type of worry that we can categorize are called hypothetical or what-ifs worries. And these are all future possibilities your brain invents to protect you. What if I mess up during the interview next month and I think I'm incompetent? Now this isn't happening right now, this worry, and there's no action to take other than preparing gradually. Or another hypothetical worry is, oh, what if I get ill while I travel and no one can help me? Again, you're not ill yet. You don't know if you will be ill, but what if something that hasn't happened? You don't know if it will happen, but you're just speculating to the future. So most people with anxiety treat every worry like an emergency. But when you understand the difference between real and imagined threats, you start to take back control. The second step is to be aware of your worries, or what we call using a worry diary. Once you know what worry is, which we have explained in step 1, the next step is to start noticing when it happens. So for the next few days, I want you to keep a very simple worry diary. Get a piece of paper or an iPad or a notes app and write down 4 columns. First column is situation, what has happened. Second column are the worries or the thoughts that you have from that situation. Third column is your anxiety level from 0 to 10, and you should rate it right when the situation is happening or right after. And the last column is a type of worry that you have. Is it real or is it hypothetical what-ifs worry? And what this does is that it makes the invisible visible. Most people don't realize how automatic the worry process is. And by writing it down, you can literally draw out how your worries create chain reactions, right? Don't overlook how important this step is. It can be a complete difference of whether or not this video helps you or not. And this is often the moment people say, wow, I didn't realize how much my brain was doing on autopilot. Step 3, explore the usefulness of your worries. And this is where everything starts to shift. When you feel overwhelmed, your brain believes that worrying equals controlling. I have to worry about this or something bad will happen. But most worries are future possibilities, not current events. So here are the key questions. Ask yourself this: is this happening now or is this a future possibility? If it's happening now, we deal with it, it's a real problem. But if it's a future what if worry, well, we're gonna postpone it, right? Postpone the worry and put it into worry time. You don't ignore the worry, you're telling your brain to calm down, chill out for a second. It is not happening right now. I'm gonna write it down on a note apps, on a piece of paper, and I'm gonna postpone it to a specific 15-minute window later in the day. Remember, we're not ignoring threats, right? We're changing our relationship with uncertainty and with imagined futures. Put all of these hypothetical what-ifs worries into worry time. 15 minutes a day where you sit down and you think about and you ruminate all those worries that you have that are hypothetical. When you do this constantly, your brain will learn whenever a worry comes up, I can think about this later. I don't have to live in a permanent state of threat. Let me deal with it in my worry time every day. Step 4, challenge your positive beliefs about worry. People often think that their problem is too much anxiety. But what really keeps worry going day to day are the beliefs about worries themselves. Beliefs like, worrying prepares me. Worrying shows I care. If I stop worrying, something will go wrong. Or if I don't think about it, I'll be caught off guard. These beliefs make worry feel necessary. So in this step, we're gonna explore the pros and cons of worrying. Not just the logical ones, but the emotional ones as well. So in this exercise, I want you to write down 2 columns, one with the advantages of worrying and the other with disadvantages. Often, people realize that the benefits of worry are very short-lived and the costs are huge, such as sleep, mood, relationships, time, energy, confidence. And when these beliefs about worry start to shift, worry will lose its power. Step 5, choose how we want to approach uncertain situations. Now, this is the heart of the model. A lot of people who worries a lot, or those who are diagnosed with generalized anxiety, have what we call the intolerance of uncertainty. Now, we all want to feel safe, right? We all want to know what happens in the future. Our brain wants to keep us safe and in good health. But as you know, we can never predict the future. And what happens is that there are two ways that we can try to get that sense of safety. We can either increase certainty or increase our ability to tolerate uncertainty. Now, most people choose to increase certainty. We would want to research everything, over-prepare for exams, reassure ourselves endlessly, check, recheck, and then check again if hops are turned off properly, doors are locked, windows are closed, avoid things that we're unsure about. It makes sense, right? Uncertainty feels very uncomfortable. But the problem is that the more you chase for certainty, the less certainty you actually feel. For example, you're worried you might have made a mistake in an email. So you read it once, then again, you ask someone else to check it, you Google whether the phrasing is professional enough, maybe you use AI, maybe AI makes a mistake, but maybe not. Well, for a moment you feel a bit better, but then a new doubt or new worry pops up. Did I check it properly? What if I missed something? So then you're back where you started, only more anxious than before, because you don't trust yourself of checking only once, or twice, or 3 times. And so what? Worries will then grow back stronger. Now the other option is the one that people fear the most. Increase our tolerance for uncertainty. And this is where actual change happens. You start to expose yourself to uncertain situations intentionally, not to torture yourself, not to put yourself into physically dangerous situations, but to teach your brain that I can handle not knowing. I can handle discomfort, and I don't need absolute certainty. And this is how we start rewiring our brain. You're changing your belief from I must be certain to I can tolerate uncertainty, and that's a huge shift. Step 6. Understand the barriers to tolerating uncertainty. When people try to approach uncertain situations, they often hit 2 major roadblocks. Barrier 1, negative problem orientation. This is your brain sounding like, you can't cope with this, you're gonna mess up, you won't be able to handle it if something goes wrong, or it's too risky. Well, it's not that you can't cope, it's that your brain believes you can't. And remember, this is part of your brain's caveman software to protect you from harm. And it is not always correct. Your brain is a very imaginative organ. We challenge these negative beliefs about yourselves by looking at the evidence of the amount of times you've coped before, and by taking small steps to prove your capability in real time. I've attached a worksheet in the video below to guide you through the exercise. It only takes a few minutes a day to remind you of your overprotective brain that you can actually do it, and you have done it many times before. The second barrier includes distracting yourself, pushing those scary worries away, thoughts away, seeking excessive reassurance about those worries, constantly planning for every scenario, or mentally checking things to feel safer. Avoidance reduces anxiety short term, but it worsens it long term. It teaches the brain, I can't handle uncertain thoughts. I must avoid discomfort. And when we gently reduce these avoidance strategies, your brain relearns confidence. Step 7. Consolidate your beliefs about worry and uncertainty. This final step is where all the pieces come together. We're going to summarize everything you've learned so far. You've understood what worrying is, the types of worries, you're aware of how your worry pattern works, how your worry pattern works. You have separated real problems and real practical worries from hypothetical what-ifs worries. You have challenged the idea that worry is super helpful and it protects you. You're choosing tolerance over certainty, and you're letting go of avoidant and negative self-beliefs. Now, we translate all of that into this new core belief about ourselves. Something like, I don't enjoy uncertainty, but I can handle it. I don't have to fix every what-ifs. I can choose focus even when I don't feel certain. My brain is learning a new way to respond. You create a personalized plan for your future. So when worry spikes again, and it will because you're only human, you know exactly what to do. Now, if you ever feel like your worries run your life, remember this. Worry isn't a personality trait. It's a habit that your brain has learned, and habits can be unlearned. These 7 steps give you the roadmap to do exactly that. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like so that it reaches more people. And if you want me to do more psychology explained simply, please just subscribe.